me just say, as a lesbian and the executive director of the National Center for Lesbian Rights, what lesbians and gay men seek is the same kind of access, safety, and security that every other American enjoys.
Kate Kendall is the executive director of the National Center for Lesbian Rights. She's going on her 15th year. And Shannon Minter is our legal director, one of the best minds and legal strategists around LGBT equality and rights.
Barring same-sex couples from marriage and creating a separate status for gay people violates the most basic protections in our state constitution.
And he's been there over 15 years. So together, they have really been the minds and leaders, and especially the visible face to Nclr.
Our nation must defend the sanctity of marriage.
San Francisco's newly elected mayor isn't wasting any time. He is stepping right into the controversial issue of gay marriage.
At the time FLA came into Nclr's life, it was the year after Gavin Newsom had began issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples. So if you just think about what was going on.
And right away we got pulled into this kind of maelstrom of activity and discussion and debate.
The very heart of the family is under attack. The gay community will stop at nothing to take the family, to take marriage.
What do we want? Equal rights. When do we want it?
Now. And imagine being in the organization that was at the fulcrum of all of that. The last thing I wanted to deal with was leadership. We were just doing the work. And so I really wanted to say no.
For the most part, everyone was just flying by their seat of their pants. Nclr grew,
but the organization really hadn't changed in terms of how we were structured or how we were doing things from when we were a 5-person shop to a 19-person shop.
Before I would just often find myself in situations that I just truly did not know how to handle. And so, we made some mistakes that we could have perhaps spared ourselves. We're bringing on a whole new senior staff attorney, for example, but we didn't tell people till the last minute, or
we didn't have any kind of management structure. We didn't have a management team. So I thought I was a perfectly fine leader, and the idea that I could learn something sitting in a conference room with a bunch of other executive directors or working with a consultant who did management training or development seemed like a real waste of time, frankly. And it is. When you don't know what you don't know, you're going to fall over yourself and make mistakes, and that's what we were doing.
This historic argument that will determine no less an important question than whether there is equality under the law for any minority group in California. That is what is at stake.
We were lead counsel on that case. The case had been going on for about a year when we got FLA support. In addition to, let's keep in mind, our entire other docket, 30, 40 other very active national cases that were going on. People said, I'm not really sure we would have been equipped to be able to handle and manage that. If it hadn't been for FLA, I think once things finally calmed down a little bit, I probably would have left.
Well, it's been helpful in a number of ways. We've been able to enhance our leadership work now for more than 5 years, and it allows us in particular to work on our board development, coaching of our management team, building our senior team, enhancing our fundraising strategies, and setting our overall strategy and planning for the organization. And all of this has really helped us be more intentional and more strategic in how we approach our work.
Helping you have a greater sense of your vulnerabilities and your strengths, being able to assess those honestly, being able to get support to magnify the strengths and to ameliorate the weaknesses. That's what leadership support is all about, and that's what the FLA support has been about for me personally.
I feel like we are exponentially more productive than before we kind of learned these lessons.
Thank you very much for convening this hearing. This is the first time that members of the transgender community have had a chance to talk with Congress so directly.
Now I spend the vast majority of my time doing the actual work and just the tiniest fraction dealing with the kind of internal problems.
There's now a team that shares a whole range of responsibilities with me that I had not utilized before or even recognized the utility of before. So now, when an issue, a difficult issue comes up, I don't even first think, what am I going to do about this? I go to a team of trusted people who all work very well together and collaboratively come up with, all right, how are we going to approach this and address it?
People cheered outside the San Francisco courthouse, jubilant over the 4-3 decision that paves the way for same-sex marriage in California.
There is not a lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender person in this country that is not better off because we won.
And to win the case and have that just incredible elation of achieving such an important freedom for our community. And then, of course, to have to live through Prop 8 going on the ballot just a few months later and having the voters take that right away from all of us in California was so devastating and so stressful and tense for our whole community.
And then when we lost at the ballot box 6 months later, I mean, that was so bruising for me personally, for everyone here.
And it is impossible to reconcile the court's ruling from a year ago with its upholding of Prop 8 today.
We shared both the high of winning and the low of seeing that taken away together. And in many ways, it made, it bound us more tightly together.
And I now see a big part of what we are even doing, what our purpose is at Nclr, is nurturing a whole generation of leaders who are going to have the wisdom to deal with the issues that will be presented to the movement. I've seen folks just really blossom in their own leadership abilities, just emerge in a way that is almost awe-inspiring.
I've been doing this work now for 15 years, and I'm not sure I would be at this point believing that I could do it for some time yet in the future had it not been for FLA support. And even more important, I do not believe that my organization, which I love and am committed to with every fiber, would be as healthy and as stable and as functional as it is without FLA support.